In a small-town bar on a quiet North Carolina highway, a returning soldier seeks a moment of peace. But a chance encounter with a group of bikers threatens to unravel a calm night into a tense standoff. What begins as a simple misunderstanding soon escalates, revealing the prejudices and unexpected alliances that can surface when respect and valor are put to the test. This is the story of Terence, a soldier who has faced many battles, but tonight's conflict will test a different kind of courage. Let's find out what happens when the past collides with the present and pride meets its match. The faint glow of neon signs flickered against the darkening sky as Terence parked his dusty pickup truck in front of Elliot's Taproom, a modest bar off Highway 74 in North Carolina. The bar wasn't fancy, just a reliable pit stop for locals, truckers, and road-weary souls looking for a cold drink and a moment of quiet. Terence, back home just a week after his third deployment, longed for a brief escape from the noise of the world. He pushed open the creaky door and stepped inside, greeted by the familiar hum of chatter and the distant strumming of a Johnny Cash song from an old jukebox. The air was thick with the smell of beer and fried food, a comforting blend that reminded him of simpler times. He scanned the room, a couple of regulars playing pool, a group laughing at the bar, and a few loners sipping their drinks in silence. Terence wasn't looking for company, he just needed a place to decompress. He found a corner table, tucked away but with a clear view of the room. His camouflage uniform blended into the dim ambience, except for his scuffed sneakers, a choice made for comfort, not for show. Terence ordered a glass of water and sipped it slowly, his mind drifting to the family he was finally going to see. He could almost taste his mother's home-cooked meals and hear the excited laughter of his young niece. But his peaceful thoughts were abruptly interrupted by the sound of the door slamming open. A group of 6 men strode in, their heavy boots echoing on the wooden floor. They were older, with leather jackets adorned with patches and insignias marking them as veterans. They were loud, laughing and clapping each other on the back as they made their way to the bar. Terence barely gave them a glance before returning to his drink. But one of the men, their leader, a burly guy with a salt and pepper beard, noticed him. The man's laughter faded as he locked eyes with Terence, then leaned in to mutter something to his friends. The group's demeanor shifted from boisterous to tense, their eyes darting back to Terence with a mixture of suspicion and disdain. Terence felt their stares but didn't acknowledge them. He had seen those looks before, looks that judged without knowing the full story. He kept his posture relaxed, focusing on the jukebox instead of the uneasy atmosphere that was slowly building. The bikers huddled closer at the bar, their voices dropping to low whispers. The leader smirked, gesturing towards Terence. "Look at this guy," he sneered. "Camouflage and sneakers? You think he's a real soldier or just playing dress-up?" The others chuckled, but their laughter was forced. One of them, a lanky guy with a nervous twitch, glanced away, clearly uncomfortable. The leader, emboldened by the lack of dissent, sauntered over to Terence's table, his heavy boots thudding against the floor. "Hey," the leader barked, stopping just a few feet away. "Nice uniform you got there. Where'd you get it? A Halloween store?" Terence looked up, his expression calm but his eyes sharp. He'd heard worse insults in the heat of battle. "It's mine," he replied evenly. "Earned it." The leader raised an eyebrow, feigning surprise. "Earned it, huh? That's funny, because I've seen plenty of real soldiers, and they don't wear sneakers with their fatigues. You trying to get free drinks with that outfit?" Terence's jaw tightened, but his voice remained steady. "I'm not here for free drinks, just a quiet evening." The leader leaned closer, his beer-soaked breath hot and unpleasant. "You don't look like a soldier to me," he sneered. "Where's your boots, your tags? Bet you don't even know how to salute." The bikers snickered, casting mocking glances at Terence. But Terence stayed composed, his gaze steady. He knew when to pick his battles, and he wasn't about to be baited by a bully. "I don't need to prove anything to you," Terence said finally, his voice low and firm. The leader's smirk faltered. He leaned back, visibly annoyed by Terence's calm demeanor. "You think you're a hero, huh, walking in here like you belong?" "I don't think you do." The room grew silent. The bartender paused mid-pour, and the regulars exchanged nervous glances. The tension was thick enough to cut with a knife. "I've served 3 tours overseas," Terence said, his voice carrying an edge of steel. "And I don't need your approval to belong anywhere." For a moment, the leader hesitated, caught off guard by the quiet strength in Terence's words. But his pride wouldn't let him back down. He sneered, "Yeah, prove it. Show us your tags. Otherwise, you're nothing but a liar." Terence's eyes swept the room, noting the bikers' uncertain glances. They weren't so sure of their leader's accusations anymore. He exhaled slowly, resisting the urge to escalate. "I don't owe you proof," he said. "But if you think starting something here is a good idea, I suggest you think again." The leader lunged, his hand reaching for Terence's collar, but Terence sidestepped smoothly. With a swift motion, he caught the man's wrist, twisted it behind his back, and pinned him against the table. Gasps filled the bar as the bikers froze, eyes wide with shock. "I told you to think twice," Terence said, his voice cold and controlled. "You don't know who you're messing with." The bartender finally spoke. "Maybe it's time for you all to leave before this gets worse." Outside, sirens wailed as police arrived, casting flashing lights across the bar. The officers entered, demanding an explanation. After a tense exchange, the truth came out: Terence was indeed a soldier, and the bikers had been the aggressors. With reluctant apologies, the group left, their bravado shattered. Days later, one of the bikers, Bill, showed up at Terence's home to apologize. He admitted he'd been wrong, swayed by his leader's arrogance. "I want to be better," Bill said. Terence accepted the apology, knowing it took courage to admit fault. It was a small victory against ignorance, but one that meant a lot. As the sun set over his quiet yard, Terence felt a renewed sense of resolve. He knew battles weren't only fought overseas. Sometimes the fight for respect and understanding was right here at home. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Unfolded Tales Explained. Hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. We have many more tales waiting to unfold.